In front of that trial that I talked about before, which is really interested in understanding the impacts of row spacing, row direction on pod drop, and looking at different plant architectures within lentils. So what I'm going to do is just take you through the wider row spacing we have out here, which is on about 14 inches, and just walk you through a number of the different varieties that we've got in this trial. And just remember as we go through that these are also sown on narrow row spacings, just over to the side here, and then on a east-west direction as we go further up the hill over there. So just walking through here, over on our left-hand side here, we've got the variety PBA Jumbo. And so this is one of the older varieties, and you can see how it's just slowly starting to close its canopy, less vigor. The classic old PBA bolt, the one that everyone in the mallee likes, nice and erect, flowering away happily at the moment, standing up well, so hopefully it'll hang on to its pods at the end of the year. Moving through, we have got PBA Hallmark just here. So this variety did extremely well last year throughout Victoria, and you can see a bigger plant type, slowly closing canopy, a variety that, you know, looks very promising for Victoria. And then over to the other side here, we've got a new breeding line from GIA. So they've got a line that they've developed through mutation breeding for herbicide tolerance, got a very different growth habit, and you can see this really branchy type, so it's closing in a bit shorter obviously than Hallmark. So we're really interested to see how this particular plant structure performs on different row spacings. At other sites we've got this in different sorts of stubble setups as well, so looking at it in standing stubble. Just down here we have PBA Hurricane, so everyone knows all about PBA Hurricane. Fortunately we haven't had a big frost on it this year, so it's still looking nice and green. We've seen on Twitter a few illustrations where it's gone a bit yellow again compared to other varieties. Over here, your classic PBA Jumbo 2. So you can see the canopy is completely closed. That branching type, happily flowering away up here. It'll start moving along very quickly now. So this is one of our elite lines, and certainly the comparison point in terms of yield. And finally at the front here, we have a breeding line which dropped a lot of pods last year. So this is Sipau 1821, very erect, extremely high yielding when you can get all the pods, but we certainly lost a lot in the trials last year. So we're interested to see whether we can change the number of pods that it drops based on row direction and row spacing, and also stubble down around the Wimmera. And finally on the other side here we've got a classic old variety, Aldinga. Again, just a slightly different plant type, one of the ones that used to fall flat on the ground years ago, so that's why we're comparing that with all the other varieties. We'll be very interested to have a look at the results at the end of the year, so we'll be monitoring pod drop and pod loss, and ultimately yield will be our defining factor. Thank you.